What's going on YouTube? Austin Zay back here with another YouTube video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the stimulus check updates, and it has been a crazy start to the week, and it is only going to get crazier because the updates I'm about to share with you in today's video are pretty freaking insane. So I encourage you to stay to the very end of the video to make sure you get all the latest updates as it relates to your stimulus check. And we're going to talk about pretty much everything all the way from the HEROES Act, which you've probably heard a decent amount about, all the way to people on SSI and SSDI. And we're going to update you on the round 2 stimulus checks, okay, and everything in between. I would really appreciate it if you haven't already to go ahead and smash that like button. It does really help me out with the YouTube algorithm, but let's go ahead and jump into it. Number 1, we're going to be talking about the HEROES Act, which stands for the Health and Economic Recovery Omnibus Emergency Solutions Act, and that is a mouthful, but we're going to jump into exactly what that looks and feels like and why it applies to you. House Democrats proposed the HEROES Act yesterday, okay, today is Thursday, and it is, I will say, pretty well thought out in my opinion, considering the fact that it is 1,800 pages long. It seems to be the most legitimate and structured proposal that we've talked about so far, and we have talked about quite a few different proposals over the last 4 weeks, as I feel like at this point, everybody and their mom has a proposal or a bill that they want to suggest that should get passed. For starters, this bill will come with a hefty price tag of about $3 trillion. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. That is $3 trillion. And again, remember, going back to the CARES Act, in total, that was a $2.2 trillion bill. So the HEROES Act is going to be $3 trillion if it were to get passed. Okay, the main details that you're probably waiting to hear is an additional $1,200 stimulus check, and that would be a one-time $1,200 payment for individuals who earn up to $75,000. Families would also be eligible to receive an additional $1,200 for up to 3 qualified dependents. So the max per household would be $6,000. Now this is a little bit different than the CARES Act. In the CARES Act, what we saw was that the wording in the bill was children. And when we're looking at the HEROES Act, it actually names dependents, okay? And I know a lot of you have been asking me questions as it relates to this. So that obviously increases the number of eligible people in a nutshell, since college and other adult dependents would be included. And again, I hope that answers a lot of your questions, as I know over the last couple of weeks I've seen an unbelievable amount of comments. And again, I really appreciate you watching these videos. So I want to make sure that I keep you as informed as I possibly can. The income limits would phase out and be the same as the CARES Act. Single, $75,000, like we just talked about. Married, filing jointly, $150,000. Head of household, $112,500. And again, it would phase out single, $75,000 through $99,000, married filing jointly, $150,000 through $198,000, and the head of household would go from $112,500 through $136,000. This act would actually allow for an extension of the additional $600 a week for unemployment, which again, we've made multiple videos on that as well. So you would actually see an extension in the date or in the timeline in which you would be able to receive that additional money. The date for that would be through January 31st of 2021, which again is pretty crazy considering right now we are just in May. There are also a bunch of sections actually preventing debt collectors from collecting certain types of debt. It even states that utility companies would not be allowed to disconnect or terminate your service due to non-payment, okay, which is pretty crazy. And the rest of the bill provides $500 billion for state governments, $375 billion for local governments, $175 billion for testing and healthcare related expenses, $75 billion for housing assistance, additional funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, $10 billion additional funding for small businesses, $20 billion to tribal governments. I mean, come on. The list literally just keeps going on, and a bunch of other random things like broadband issues, which we've talked a little bit about and we've seen a little bit of, and funds for election security and preparation. And again, remember, it is 2020, right? It is election year. So this would go towards making voting accessible from home and what have you. I know that I can't imagine actually having to go out and vote, I guess, if what we're dealing with, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. Anyways, that's where the money would go. I'm just here to update you, to inform you, and to let you know what it is going on in terms of finance and things of the sort. Okay, so the magic question is, when is this going to get passed? When are you going to get paid? When are you going to get your second stimulus check? I mean, come on, that is the magic question we all want to know. We've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks, and all of you have literally dropped tens of thousands of comments in my comment section. So the House is returning to Washington on Friday, okay, tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video, but on Friday, to potentially vote on the HEROES Act, amongst a couple of other things as well. Speaker Nancy Pelosi actually stated that the $3 trillion HEROES bill is, quote, worth it to provide Americans relief from the pandemic occurring from this villainous virus. Okay, again, I quote, that is something that Nancy Pelosi came out and actually said. And she hopes that this is a starting point in negotiations with President Donald Trump and Republicans, okay? So very interesting what we're seeing going on. As you all know, I don't get involved. I am not one way or the other. I am simply here to talk about money, to talk about personal finance, investing, saving, and things of that nature. But I will say, it is very interesting what is going on. So as you know, in general, Republicans in Congress have seemed fairly hesitant on any sort of additional stimulus, any sort of additional payment to Americans, and they really hope that reopening businesses will refuel the economy, okay? And they won't actually have to, send any money out to anybody. Look, at the end of the day, you already know, Democrats feel the opposite, Republicans feel this way, Democrats feel that way, and it really has just been a big kind of fight or battle, you might say, trying to get to a happy medium where people can just agree. And I would love to know what your thoughts and your opinions are. Definitely make sure you stay till the end of the video, but also drop into the comment section down below what you think. And I'm gonna move right along to a couple of more updates, and then we're gonna wrap everything up. Again, make sure you stay tuned. SSI, I've gotten so many comments about SSI. So look, if you started receiving SSI or SSDI before January 1st of this year, the IRS will process your payment according to the same way you receive your Social Security benefits. If you started receiving SSI or SSDI before January 1st of this year, again, and you do file taxes, the IRS will process your payment based on your most recent tax return, and you will only receive additional payment for any dependents on that tax return. If you started receiving SSI or SSDI after January 1st of this year, the IRS will process your payment based on your most recent tax return. If you didn't receive any additional payment for dependents that are not listed on that tax return, you have to wait to file 2020 taxes to receive the $500 payment. If you started receiving SSI or SSDI after January 1st of this year, but you qualify to not file taxes, you were to use the non-filers tool on the IRS website, which again, we've talked about in a couple of my other videos. For those with dependents, if you entered any applicable dependent information on the non-filer tool in the IRS portal before May 5th, and select direct deposit, you should receive your payment on May 13th. If you left your bank information empty on the non-filers tool, you will be getting your check by mail, and checks will be mailed out May 15th, okay? So, potentially 1 to 2 weeks after that, depending on how long it takes USPS to deliver your mail, which again, is probably also delayed at this point, because what isn't delayed at this point? If you used the non-filer and you have a Direct Express card, you will receive your $1,200 and $500 dependent amount in the Direct Express bank account info that you provided, okay? So, look, this is a lot to take in. It is a lot for me to tell you about, which is why I made a bunch of notes to make sure that I informed you correctly. So, if you're liking and enjoying the video, I would just really appreciate it if you would smash that like button. Just real quick, won't take very long. We have like 30 more seconds and then we're done, I promise. So just hit the like button, okay? And again, if you left the bank information empty, okay, you will be getting your check by mail, and that will be mailed out again May 15th. That was a lot, I get it. But I really appreciate you for watching today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. There is a lot going on right now, and it's a pretty crazy time that we're living in, I will say. I hope that every single one of you goes out there and provides for your family. Do whatever you have to do. Hopefully, look, if you need the money, hopefully this stuff happens for you watching today's video, okay? But other than that, I'm gonna try and do my very best to make more videos on how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money, and overall do everything that I can do to help you set yourself up and your family to potentially get yourself in a position that might be better than the one you're in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.